Hello, guys, believers in Jesus Christ. Let's gather here. Those who believe in Jesus Christ, for sure. I just want to give you a brief history about my life. I was born in a poor family, a very poor family, and my mom and dad were committed believers. My dad was a pastor. My mother was Mama Kanisa. Mama Kanisa means a woman, elder woman in a church, like a woman who takes care of other women in church. She takes care of other women's affairs in church. We call her Mama Kanisa, is a title. My dad was a pastor. He used to have his church actually, he was pastoring his church. So he was a pastor. And we were born in this family of believing in Jesus Christ without questioning. They say faith comes by hearing, and hearing again the word of God. And therefore you believe it without questioning. So we grew up as Christians. We were taught the Bible. We read the Bible. We could pray at night before we sleep. We could pray before we eat any food, And also we could develop this act of being a Christian, meaning you have to follow every character of Jesus Christ, whom you never saw, whom you don't know, but you are just given a history of a person who lived long time ago by the name Jesus Christ, who they said is God. And so we were programmed, our mind were programmed to believe what we were taught. And so since we were kids, we were not allowed to question. We used to be told, obey your parents. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is the right thing. Honor your father and mother. And by you doing that, you have a long time to live on earth. Teachings that we received every Sunday, we call it Sunday school. And so we grew up. I grew up personally. I became a religious person. I believed in Jesus Christ. Anywhere where there was argument about Christ, about God, I was not associating with that at all, because I knew once I associate with it, it actually damages my faith, and also it can bring me down, And so I grew up that way. But when I started growing up, my mind was developing into something else, and I started getting different revelations. I just started knowing myself, and I knew that I was a slave. Even Paul says, I am a slave of Christ. I am a slave of Christ. And so I didn't want to be a slave. I did not want to be a slave. I just wanted to be a human being, a free human being who lives on earth. Free to think, to reason, to ask questions, to find answers, I just wanted to be a free man, And also, to add on that, when I was in school, I used to love this subject called history, because it taught me where we came from, our origin of humankind. And so when I was starting to read the history, though history is written by men, and they can add, subtract, make it so appealing according to them. But I was reading within the lines, you know. I read about how white people came and invaded us and subjected us into slavery. And also I read about how Christianity came, how religion came, religion in terms of Christianity, Muslim, and all those kind of things. And so I started adding 1 + 1, asking questions. Who am I? Where did I come from? Yeah, as you know, I started asking myself, and I looked at how believers or pastors, clergy in quote, how they conduct themselves, and how they honor God, and how they call this God is a good God, and there is this guy called Satan. And I asked myself a lot of questions. One of the questions, okay, I have 2, maybe 5 questions that I started with. The first question was, who is God? Second question, does Satan exist? Third question, who is Jesus Christ? Fourth question, is God love? Fifth question, do we have any other gods? And many other questions, but I just want to narrow down into those few questions that I was asking myself. Sorry guys. And so I came to find out that the God we are preached to, the God we are taught from the Bible, Quran, and all these kind of things, that God has a question mark. I will tell you why. Also, I came to learn about Jesus Christ, and I found out that even Christ himself, and how people put it, has a question mark. And now let me start giving you my findings, you know, and how I believe. Me, first of all, I don't believe in Christianity. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in any Muslims and all that kind of things. I totally don't believe in them. When I grew up, I made up my mind, there's nothing like religion. That is just a path, a strategy, or a method, or a formula through which people are using to milk other people, you know, to drain other people, to take money from other people, to take property from other people. They are taking advantage of this to rule over other people, you know. For example, just where you live, how many churches do you normally count when you're walking, maybe going to church, maybe going to your day-to-day activity? How many churches do you normally count? How many churches are within your place? Many. And if God is love, why don't we just join together, because we worship the same God, the creator of the universe, and Jesus Christ? We believe in these things. Why don't we just come together and form a formidable one church, a mega church, because we all belong to God? Then we can come together and continue worshiping God? Why should we have different denomination praising Jesus, praising God, reading the same word of God, the Bible or the Quran, and we still have divisions in this so-called church, divisions, and pastors don't love each other. If one member moves from this church belonging to a certain pastor, goes to worship in another church, then this church pastor becomes so furious, you know. They can even summon that member in a committee, a disciplinary committee, and then they subject this member into kind of punishment thing, you know, just because this member associates himself or herself with another denomination. And yet that denomination, they prophesy, they acknowledge God as their God, and also they preach Jesus Christ. So there is divisions in churches. One thing that comes into a pastor's mind is that first I have to gather population, second I have to buy a car, third I have to own a piece of land, you know. So this pastor keeps on milking people each and every Sunday. Oh, you are contributing towards the land, we are contributing towards this and this and this and this and this. So at the end of all, you know, when a member comes to the church, he or she contributes up to the time where she can't continue, and then she moves from the church. Another member comes, and there is no any single time when members of the church will decide that now, since we are the one who contributed this money, we have to claim our land or this property or that property. These properties, when they are bought, they are written or they are signed into pastor's name or pastor's family name or a community of, you know, pastor has his people. So even the signatories of maybe a bank or account, church account, or it is a pastor and other men, few individuals who are running this organization called the church, you know. So I'm talking about the church. The same things that I'm talking about the church applies to other religion too. So I have a lot of things to say, but this program, I've begun it here so that each and every time we gather here, we have to cough it out. The program is called Cough It Out. Cough it out. You know, when you have a cough and you find out that even if you are a thief, you know, and you've gotten into somebody's house and yet you have a cough, even if this guy gets you and then you run to a hiding place, or you go and hide somewhere, and then the cough comes, you feel like you want to cough, trust me, you cannot prevent a cough from coming out. You have to cough it out, you know. So this program is called Cough It Out. Cough it out. Anything that disturbs you, anything that you think is not good, don't hold on it. Cough it out, you know. I want to tell you one thing before I wind out, because we have other things to unveil. So stay tuned. I just want to say this. For God to intervene into your life, for you to live a comfortable life, for you to live your life to the fullest, you have to ask questions. Ask questions and God will come into revealing the answers to you. And the God I'm talking about is not this God you hear from the Bible, from Quran. I'm talking about the power that runs the universe. The power that created human beings, created animals, created mountains, created earth, created universe, created everything that is in the universe. You can call that force God. You can call it any name you wish to call it, but that itself, the force that keeps you vibrating, keeps your body vibrating, gives you energy, gives you life, makes you happy, heals you. That force to me, it's God, because God in English means self-existence. You know, self-existence force, the force that exists by itself. It is a God to me, you know. So you can call it wherever you want, but I don't attribute this God into God who is divisive. You know, this God that we are preached about, God of the Bible, who is of Israelite. He goes and kills Philistines, and he kills these people for the sake of protecting Israel. Those are just false narratives that were created by the Israelites themselves. So they feel that they are so special that they have God and other people doesn't have. So you take the advantage of that to go and kill other kingdoms or kill other people just because you feel like your God has sent you to do that. God is not that kind of God. And believe you me, there is nothing like Satan. There is nothing like Satan. Look at this phone. You see this phone or this one? Let's use this. You see this phone has two sides. This side and this side. And every side has got their function. If you come okay. So if you come this side, you'll find that this place is where you use maybe to type your things, to do your business, this side. But when it comes to this side, is a place where you can put your phone. It's like a sitting side where the phone sits somewhere. So you cannot put your phone facing this side. So every side has got their function. God created you with two sides, good side and bad side. All of them joined together, they make you complete. So those bad side is what people call it Satan. Oh, Satan is bad. And that good side is what they call it God. No, these two sides, you cannot survive with one. You cannot just be good. There's no way you can be 100% good. And now you're saying, I have to remove the other one to be righteous, to be complete good. No. Or I have to remove bad, good, and be very bad. No. You just have to accept that these things were created in you, even in the animals. Look at animals documentary. I love watching documentaries. If you watch lions, let's take lions. In the jungle, lion has defensive mechanism, the bad side of the lion. So when the lion is coming to approach a prey, even if you're watching the documentary, lion can jump into the kingdom of these preys and they run away, and he jumps into a newborn baby, and he tossed it and he eats it. And then when you're watching, you feel like, no, lion is just, no, lion, you are doing, this is not right. Why are you killing them? That is what God created in them for survival. You know, God created that side for survival for the lion. So the lion has good side and bad side fused together. They make it complete. All these animals, they have their good side and bad side fused together. They make them who they are. We human beings, no one should lie to you that you can live in illusion. You know, you create this righteous person. Any day you keep on creating this righteous person, he keeps on falling down. You create, you become so disappointed. A pastor is telling you you have to be righteous, you have to walk like this. So you keep on pretending. When you are alone, you sip, you do things. When you see a pastor, I'm righteous. Be yourself. Be free by asking questions. No one should lie to you that you have to believe without asking questions. No, ask questions. The money that we give to the churches, please tell us, where do you normally take our money? Face your pastor, because that is your sweat. You contribute the money for the purchase of the land in a church. And you end up not asking questions. Ask questions. Even the government, we have to ask questions. The government, president, the ministers, we give tax. Is it what the tax? Everything we buy, we tax. We are taxed. Where does our money? Where do you take our money? We want to see 1, 2, 3 things that our money has done. The same applies to the churches. So Christian, wake up. Face your leaders in your church to explain to you what they have been doing with your contribution. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you've been in that church. You're still renting a house. You're still suffering. You're still sleeping hungry. You're still hustling. 20 years taking your offerings to that kind of a church, and there is nothing good that has come out of it. Even my, you don't have a job. You don't have a job. You normally go to that church without failure. You sweep the church. You maybe participate in singing or doing or playing keyboard or playing drum set or interpreting for the pastor or doing this and this and this. But your life, if you look at your life, you're stagnant. You don't have business to do. You're just there, and you can't ask any questions. You cannot raise a question, because the Bible says we live by faith. Take care of yourself. Your life is more precious, because look at the person, look at your pastor. Take a look of your pastor. He drives, he lives an expensive life. His kids are in good schools. The wife dresses properly. There is money flowing. And you? There's no money. There's no money. He lies to you that anytime you give to the church, you will be blessed. And you keep, your landlord is on your neck each and every month. You've got a lot of bills to pay. Your kids are at home, sent away from school. If you call your pastor, he'll come and tell you, man of God, we have to pray over this issue. We have to pray over this issue. And his kids are in good schools. His kids have a nice job. They have connections. My dear brothers and sisters, open your eyes and see. You are a slave. So I just came. This program is all about us talking. So in the comments below, I just want you to open up and talk. This is not the time to play around. This is the time to speak it out, to cough it out, you know. Establish your purpose in life, you know. So I'll have a lot. I'm loaded, man. I'm loaded with many things to explore. I'm loaded. I'm like a balloon that has received a lot of air and is just waiting for something small to explode. So guys, if you are loaded like me, let's talk. If you're loaded like me, let's talk. So this program is starting now. I've just lay a foundation of it. In this program, guys, I just want us to talk about your belief, and also talk about this religion things. Talk about especially religion things. We just want to talk about how we are directed by the religion. I myself, I cease to be a religion person. I cease to be a Christian. I cease to be a Muslim. I cease to believe in all this rubbish. I don't call them rubbish. I'm not trying to tell you not to do that. You remain with your faith, but I'm talking about myself, because I was raised in a Christian family, you know. I told you about my dad. My dad was a pastor. My mom was Mama Kanisa, and they lived in poverty. They lived believing that, oh, God will bless us. We were born in the same poverty through. So they believe that by us doing good, by us being good, then God will come and bless us. My dear brother, we are on this earth to hunt, just like animals hunt, not in a bad way. We are more intelligent like animals. Hunt, meaning think of something, do it, earn money, use that money to develop yourself. Use that money to develop yourself, to cater for your family. If you have a wife, take care of your wife, take care of your kids, pay rent, live a good life. If you have your money, is your money. And if you want to help, first of all, help yourself, establish yourself, buy yourself a plot somewhere, buy yourself a beautiful mansion, take your kids to school, live a good life, live your life, be a free human being. Don't be a slave. Don't waste your money going to give someone because that man knows God more than you, because that man can pray to you, because that man introduced you to God. No one introduces no one to God, you know. So I have a lot to share, but this program will be coming live, and it is called Cover Out by Malala Butita. All right, I'm called Joseph, but I even don't like the name Joseph because it doesn't belong to me, man. I was called Joseph when I was baptized, but I don't love the name Joseph. I love my traditional names. So I am Malala Butita. Joseph, call me Joseph if you've been calling me Joseph, but as for me, I don't bear any white name. You know, they are there with their names. I've interacted with many friends. I have a lot of friends who are white, but I have never ever seen one called Malala or called our names as Africans. We just pick their names we identify with their names. So I don't want to be called Joseph. I want to be called Malala Butita. So we will be unveiling a lot of things. Stay tuned, subscribe, watch me as I watch you. Cough it out. Don't allow anyone to stop you from coughing it out. Cough it out. Bye bye.